Melissa, and I'm a librarian at the Trafalgar branch. And today we have videos from Christine Turo-Shields, a licensed counselor of social work from Kenosis Counseling, talking about mental health tips during this pandemic.
Good afternoon. My name is Christine Turo-Shields, and I'm a licensed clinical social worker and co-owner of Kenosis Counseling Center. Many of you may have seen in the news or on social media, there are what's termed the 4 M's of mental health. Dr. Sue Varma had spoken about them. And they are mindfulness, movement, mastery, and meaningful engagement. And I'm going to talk a little bit about those today, but I'm also going to add a 5th one, which is meditation. So, as we go back to mindfulness, and I've spoken about this before, it is really just the opportunity to allow yourself to stay present-centered. Mindful of your senses. What do you smell? What do you see? What do you physically feel? If you walk outside, do you feel that warm sun on your skin? Or taking a deep breath and smell the coffee? And also being mindful of your emotional experience. In these last days and weeks, we've had a lot more concern and protest around the city and around the country. And that certainly brings up a lot of emotion for people. And are you able to be mindful of what that experience is like for you? Do you feel a tightness in your fists, or do you feel your stomach churn, or feel the tears getting caught in your throat? Mindfulness again is in that present moment. What is your experience, whether good or bad? And doing so without judgment. Recognizing that it is what it is, and it's just an experience, and acknowledging that. And again, good mental health really requires that we pay attention, not just to what we're thinking, but also to what we're physically feeling and what we're emotionally experiencing. The next one is movement. And we know that sitting is the new smoking. And movement is so important with mental health, as well as physical health. And it allows us the opportunity to move our muscles, not to get so constricted or rigid or inflexible. It gives us a way to expand ourselves. We recommend that people move at least once an hour. My job consists of me sitting hour after hour after hour with clients. But I always make a point of getting up, walking down the hall, doing some stretches, shaking, and we have the opportunity these days, because there's been so much, restriction and, if you will, social distancing, to spend more time just outside and appreciating that. I find more people are taking walks, more people are bicycling, more people are hiking. So any type of movement, whatever that is, and that's so important for our kids as well. So take an opportunity, whatever movement looks like for you. Could be a yoga video, could be a kickboxing video. Again, whatever it is, make sure ongoing you are putting movement into your day. The third one is mastery. And, as especially Indianapolis is shifting out of, the restrictions around shelter at home, and people are going back out into the world, it gives us that opportunity of what have we accomplished. For some people, mastery may have been, you picked up a new hobby and learned how to play guitar, or you were practicing Spanish, or you were doing more gardening, or, building shelving units, or whatever that mastery is. But mastery really implies a sense of resilience, of how have you overcome, how have you gotten through this moment. Looking back and saying, it may not have always been pretty, but I got through, and I'm stronger because of it. It's the lesson that you learned in whatever it is that you've done. And then the fourth point is talking about meaningful engagement. And I know I've spoken about this before. How are you connected to people? How are you showing up for others? Many folks have been showing up for their neighbors, their family members, going to visit loved ones who may be, in a nursing home and connecting with them through a window, or showing up for, that elderly neighbor that needs groceries. And it may also be those Zoom calls or going into the parking lot and, having church in the parking lot. So reflect on those. Again, for many people, it's time with pets, time with animals who provide us so much comfort during tough, challenging times. And especially if you've been struggling, had a recent conversation with a family member and who's going through a really tough time. And what I reminded her is that at times when you're struggling, it may be that other people are carrying you. At times when you feel like, I can't get through this, it's then that someone is carrying you. Certainly many of us know the poem and the prayer, Footprints in the Sand. And so also that meaningful connection with our faith, which leads me to the last one, which is meditation. Meditation and prayer allows us to connect to the spiritual, to connect with our faith, to reflect on what's bigger than us and what sustains us, especially in times of struggle. And so adding that into your daily routine, and meditation and prayer, for some of us prayer seems like a rote, reciting the Our Father or the Hail Mary, but prayer can also be that meditation of just sitting and listening to God speak to us, or having that conversation with God to say, how am I going to get through this? Or what have I learned from this? Or how have I grown from this? Or what are my desires going forward? And just sitting and listening and being. Much of my meditation is in the morning as I'm waking up, and I've had the windows open at night, and the birds are just incredibly loud and beautiful. And I just extend a lot of time to lay in bed and listen to that, and just spend that quiet time in appreciation and in gratitude for what is in my life, and asking for help for those ways that I want to improve. So as we all go forward, especially continuing in these pandemic times, I would absolutely encourage that you begin to build in intentionally a sense of mindfulness, movement, mastery, meaningful engagement with others, and meditation and prayer. And just know that you are not alone and that there is help and support out there. So I hope that this month has been an opportunity for you to grow, and if you find yourself in need of further assistance, please reach out to the church, talk to your insurance company, talk to your employer, and find out where you can go to get help. Again, one of the biggest blessings during these times has been that we now all are talking about mental health. And so my prayer and wish for all of you is that you have wonderful mental health and that you cultivate that going forward. Blessings.